information in the aftermath of the deadly school shooting in Georgia. With a community in mourning, what the suspected shooter's family says he texted his mother the morning of the attack.
I'm Dave Malkoff at Appalachian High School. Today, I spoke to the suspect's grandfather. What he told me, straight ahead.
Also tonight, debate showdown.
Is anybody going to be watching?
Donald Trump gets ready, hitting the trail in Wisconsin.
She's a threat to democracy.
Harris in Pennsylvania.
Bring our country together, chart a new way forward.
I'm Weijia Jiang in Pittsburgh, where Harris is preparing to take on Trump. New tonight, both candidates are speaking out about facing off.
Plus, new protests in Israel as anger builds over their government's failure to secure a hostage deal.
I'm Elizabeth Palmer in Tel Aviv, where once again, thousands of Israelis poured into the streets to pressure their government for a hostage deal and a ceasefire in Gaza.
September sizzle. A heat wave intensifies for millions in the West. This California wildfire spreading fast and sparking evacuations. And later, don't look down. Meet the slackliners, sharing a passion for balance, precision, and walking a fine line.
All right, let's try it. Woo! Nice job.
This is the CBS Weekend News from Washington with Adriana Diaz.
Good evening. We begin tonight with new details about the deadly school shooting that has left a small Georgia community grieving this weekend. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed. Last night, hundreds attended a vigil held in Winder to remember those lives taken. It was the 23rd time just this year a school shooting has resulted in injuries or deaths. CBS's Dave Malkoff is there for us tonight, where today he spoke to the grandfather of the accused 14-year-old shooter who offered new information about what happened that morning. Dave?
He did, Adriana. You can see behind me that day and night, the 4 victims are being remembered here at the school. Just hours ago, I talked to the suspect's grandfather. The maternal grandfather of accused shooter Colt Gray is dealing with conflicting emotions. Love for his grandson and disgust over the crime he's accused of committing.
He pulled the triggers. He killed people, and he's my grandson, and it breaks my damn heart.
The 14-year-old, who has not yet entered a plea, was charged Friday with involuntary manslaughter and second-degree murder. New tonight, CBS News has learned of a text message between the suspect and his mother, Marcy Gray, on the morning of the mass shooting.
Marcy got a text on the phone from Colt saying, "I'm sorry, Mother." And then we heard on the news of the shooting.
The family has also revealed that Colt's maternal grandmother was at the school the day before the shooting.
They were having some problems with him not going to school and this kind of thing.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the boy's father, Colin Gray, bought the AR-style rifle for his teen, the same type of weapon seen laying on the floor inside the school the day of the shooting. Since Wednesday's tragedy, there have been a wave of threats across Georgia. Law enforcement officials have now arrested more than 13 juveniles and 1 adult accused of making threats to schools in at least 8 different counties. Friday, the FBI deemed the majority of the social media threats non-credible and warned posts like these will be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Among the balloons and teddy bears right behind me, there is actually a letter to Coach Aspinwall, one of the math teachers who lost his life here. Adriana, tomorrow there will be a small vigil for the school itself.
So many heartbreaking details. Dave Malkoff, thank you. Now to the campaign trail. This weekend, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are preparing for their debate showdown in quite different ways. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is in Pittsburgh for us tonight. Weijia, good evening.
Good evening to you, Adriana. Vice President Harris has been camped out here in Pittsburgh since Thursday, underscoring how critical this state is. When she takes on former President Trump for the debate on Tuesday night in Philadelphia, it will be the first time these two ever meet face to face. Taking a break from intense debate prep in Pittsburgh.
Can I have a hug?
Yes, come here. Vice President Harris met with voters at a small business this afternoon.
I finally got out of the debate prep to look at these spices. Best part of debate prep so far.
Harris is working with a close team of advisors to practice for the debate against former President Trump. The vice president was asked what she wants to get across.
It's time to turn the page on the divisiveness. It's time to bring our country together, chart a new way forward.
Rallying in another battleground state.
59 days from now, we are going to win Wisconsin.
Trump had a different message about the debate.
We're run by stupid people. Stupid people. And we found that out at the debate with Joe. How did that work out? And we're going to find it out again on Tuesday night. Is anybody going to be watching?
Wisconsin independent voter Judy LeMaster will be.
I hope it's about actual policies, and I hope his opponent will actually talk about things and communicate what she really thinks.
Both candidates are picking up political support from unexpected places. Republicans, former Vice President Dick Cheney and his daughter, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, have formally endorsed Harris. And once Trump foe turned ally, Nikki Haley, who sat down with Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan, says she's ready to stump for Trump.
You know, he knows I'm on standby. I talked to him back in June. He's aware that I'm ready if he ever needs me to do that.
CBS News has learned that Harris is participating in extended mock debates to get ready. Trump, who heads to his golf club in New Jersey tonight, has brushed off the need to prepare, recently quoting boxing great Mike Tyson, saying everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Adriana.
A Mike Tyson quote. Thanks, Weijia Jiang in Pittsburgh. We will have complete coverage of the presidential debate on Tuesday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on CBS. It'll be followed by a live simulcast of the debate and CBS's expert analysis. Today in Israel, thousands of people protested across the country, demanding their government reach a deal to free those hostages still held by Hamas in Gaza. Their outrage mounting. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer is in Tel Aviv.
Thousands of Israelis are in the streets again tonight, demanding their government make a deal to bring the hostages home. All week, anger has been running high.
And we say that our government are full of our prime minister is a liar.
Rather than work toward an agreement to release the hostages and bring a ceasefire to suffering Gazan Palestinians, these Israelis accuse their prime minister of stalling.
That Philadelphia corridor.
Most recently, Benjamin Netanyahu's condition that the Israeli army remain in Gaza on the southern border. Hamas flatly rejects this demand. The hostage families staged a memorial for those killed last week, which was also a plea for urgent action. Yair Moses' father, Gadi, is still a prisoner of Hamas.
What are your thoughts on your government's negotiations for the hostage release?
We feel they can do much more. They need to do much more. We feel that sometimes they just put some more obstacles than trying to get to solution.
Why would they do that?
I don't understand it. I cannot understand it. I don't find any reason, because people's life is the more important thing in the world.
They don't have time. The people over there in the Hamas tunnels, they don't have time.
Retired General Israel Ziv once commanded Israeli troops along the Gaza-Egypt border, the so-called Philadelphia corridor. He says Netanyahu's argument that only the army can stop Hamas smuggling weapons just doesn't hold up. There are other ways, he says, to secure the border.
What we should do now is go for the deal, bring back the hostages, and not to stick to Philadelphia. That one could be fixed later on.
The head of the CIA, Bill Burns, said today that political will is the key ingredient to getting this deal done on both sides. But Adriana, here in Israel, millions just don't believe it's there.
Elizabeth Palmer, thank you so much. September is off to a blistering start in the American West. Millions this weekend are feeling it. The extreme heat is also fueling a wildfire in California's San Bernardino National Forest. So far, the flames sparked evacuations for more than 500 homes and scorched more than 7,000 acres. Let's check in with CBS meteorologist Andrew Kozak for more. Andrew?
Yeah, good evening, Adriana. I know so many people want to get an early start on fall, but we're still dealing with excessive heat, fire danger, windy conditions, and poor air quality for areas like Boise, Idaho, over toward Portland, Oregon, and up towards Seattle. And of course, we've been talking about the fire dangers across the desert Southwest, California, San Bernardino tomorrow feeling like 102, just inland from Los Angeles. For those on the ground fighting those fires, the weather's not helping with very windy conditions and temperatures that will feel well into the triple digits. And it's not just for the West Coast. On Sunday, the East Coast, including Florida right now, South Florida, from Miami to Naples down toward Key West, will feel over 100 degrees. Now, we're watching the tropics. It's been a little while, but we actually do have a system, a cluster of thunderstorms across the Bay of Campeche, western Gulf of Mexico, a good chance to develop into Francine the next couple of days. As it moves north, we are watching for the potential for heavy flooding rain from Texas all the way to the Florida Panhandle. So between this and the heat, a lot to watch in the week ahead. Adriana?
Andrew Kozak, thank you. Straight ahead on the CBS Weekend News, the Starliner spacecraft finally comes back to Earth, but returns empty-handed.
Touchdown. Starliner is back on Earth. That landing coming.
And there it is. Boeing's Starliner spacecraft returned safely to Earth late last night, touching down in the New Mexico desert. The capsule was empty. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams are still on the International Space Station and will be there for several more months. Our Mark Strassman has the latest.
Separation confirmed. Starliner is now backing away from station and starting its return to Earth.
With no astronauts aboard, flight controllers in Houston remotely undocked Boeing's Starliner from the International Space Station. The spacecraft successfully fired its engines for the critical braking burn on the return to Earth, separated from its service module, and re-entered the Earth's atmosphere.
Starliner showing a beautiful streak across the sky.
A seemingly smooth ending to a turbulent mission.
Touchdown. Starliner is back on Earth.
All of us feel happy about the successful landing, but then there's a piece of us, all of us, that we wish it would have been the way we had planned it.
Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were supposed to be on board, but worries about Starliner's propulsion system led NASA to pull the pair off the return flight. Despite Boeing's insistence, the ship was safe.
This is a tough business that we're in. Human spaceflight is not easy.
Their 8-day mission will now stretch 8 months. SpaceX, Boeing's rival, will taxi them home next February.
Have you talked to Suni and Butch about it, given them any advice?
Yes, we have spoken. They're doing great.
NASA astronaut Frank Rubio can relate to delayed homecomings. In 2022, his Soyuz capsule sprung a leak. A 6-month mission turned into more than a year, an American record.
Certainly, there's a little part of you that's disappointed. It's okay to acknowledge that, but you also can't mope around for the entire time, right? You just have to kind of dedicate and rededicate yourself to the mission.
Starliner's back on Earth, but the program's future is up in the air. Boeing executives were no-shows at a post-landing press conference. In a statement, the company said they're going to review the data before determining the program's next steps. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
I hope those astronauts get home soon. Still ahead on the CBS Weekend News, the NFL kicks off the new season with a history-making game overseas. This season, 4 NFL teams will travel more miles than the distance around the Earth. The LA Chargers will travel the most of any team. 9 teams will play outside the U.S. at games in England, Germany, and Brazil. The first international matchup this season took place in Sao Paulo last night between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez was there.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
They traveled thousands of miles to be here. Fans like Sean Mitchell, who came to root on the Eagles for this first ever NFL game in South America.
It's very unique. Like NFL is spreading out, and I have to give them credit for that.
Markeisha Sutton came to cheer on her Green Bay Packers.
It's exciting. I've never been to Brazil, and obviously, they're into football, but a different type of football.
But perhaps the real target audience was the thousands of Brazilian fans who packed the arena, where in the land where another sport is king and of legends like Pelé, soccer is what they typically go wild for. Victor Francisco is a sports writer for Brazil's Salão Oval.
Everyone wants to be here.
By one estimate, Brazil has 38 million American football fans, second internationally only to Mexico.
What is it about American football that Brazilians enjoy?
I think that the tactics, the cleverness of the game, everybody thinks that it's about strength, but it's about intelligence.
There was a unique challenge for some American sports reporters after Brazil blocked Elon Musk's social media platform X, saying it had violated the country's rules. Elliot Shore Parks is an Eagles beat reporter for Philadelphia's 94 WIP.
There were some Philly reporters who said they'd actually handed their family access to their account so they could tweet on their behalf.
Yeah. I didn't do that. I debated it, but no, I've been using only Threads and Instagram while I've been here.
Still, Victor Francisco says for Brazil and the NFL, this was one big night.
It's the accomplishment of a dream, all this passion to show the NFL that we can host this game and do the most emotional NFL game ever.
One sign of the sport's potential here, according to Victor Francisco, is kids are starting to pick up flag football, and parents are okay with it because there's less equipment, therefore it's less expensive, and they consider it safer. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Next on the CBS Weekend News, a recall for a popular pickup truck tied to automatic steering. We'll have the details. Look at that. Today, a Louisiana landmark is no more as demolition crews imploded the Hertz Tower in Lake Charles. Once a familiar sight in the city, the 22-story building was badly damaged by back-to-back hurricanes in 2020. It had been abandoned and left empty since then. Chrysler's parent company, Stellantis, is recalling nearly 1.5 million Ram 1500 pickup trucks due to a software bug. The company said the problem could mistakenly disable the vehicle's electronic stability control system, which helps with steering. The recall includes models from 2019 and 2021 through 2024. Stellantis says it is not aware of any crashes or injuries from the software problem. To the Florida Keys now, where more than 300 people took the plunge today in an endurance challenge. They had to race 8 miles to a 151-year-old lighthouse, all in an effort to help preserve it. The round-trip swim must be completed in less than 8 hours. When we return, we take a walk in the park with San Francisco's slackliners. I hope you're not afraid of heights. Finally tonight, we all strive for balance in our lives, but in San Francisco, some are taking that goal to another level. In tonight's Weekend Journal, CBS's Itai Hodge shows us it's a daring act that happens by letting go.
On any given Wednesday, in the heart of San Francisco, a unique community comes to life. They're known as slackliners, an eclectic group of people connected by their love for balance, precision, and a touch of daring.
It's taught me just so much about not letting anxiety or fear get the better of you.
Michael Tasso is a slacklining veteran. He says don't be fooled by the casual-sounding name.
Slacklining is a great metaphor for life. You focus on what's in front of you. You don't really pay attention to what's behind you.
Slacklining involves walking across a length of nylon webbing strung between 2 points. Once a fringe activity known mostly to climbers and acrobats, it found its footing in the bustling city. The sport has been soaring in recent years as people look for fun ways to connect with nature. For those looking to step up their game, there's a second form of slacklining called highlining, where people walk a taut line anchored hundreds, even thousands of feet between 2 cliffs.
And try to look kind of straight ahead.
Okay. Best part, Michael says, anyone can do it. But as we found out the hard way, that's a bit of a stretch. Summer Higgins says the secret is to just go with it.
I think it's the flow state. There's few things in life that I feel like just drop your mind into your body.
And if you do it right, finding your balance can be a walk in the park.
And let's try it.
All right, let's try it.
Itai Had, CBS News, San Francisco.
Nice job.
That is the CBS Weekend News for this Saturday. I'm Adriana Diaz in Washington. And I'll see you next on CBS Mornings Plus, our new third hour of CBS Mornings starting September 30th. It's been so wonderful being with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.